say that because there are people all across the country right now and around the world that are happy that this day is just about over. At least in our industry, that's probably the case. My name's Teacher Michelle, and thank you very much for joining us today. My guess is that a lot of you are new. You're first-time viewers, or you've been viewing for a long time, but maybe you haven't spoken up, so today's your day. If you are, in fact, a tulip who isn't working, or is already done working because you're on the East Coast, type in there, say hi, put your tulip in, so that the folks who aren't tulips know who the tulips are. If you're on your phone, turn it sideways. If you're on your computer, don't turn it sideways. And if you're one of those multitasking folks that has Facebook open and YouTube open, good for you. We're glad you're here today. It is the day of love and the day that Ricky and Michelle run the world. And I say that because Ricky and Michelle are the only ones here today. We drew straws and I got the short straw. Not really, no. Teacher Carolyn is working. She and Teacher Jerry, it is Valentine's Day, so they are working like crazy. I highly doubt that they're even listening to us, but just on the off chance, hi ladies, just a couple more hours, you've got this. Leanne is off playing hooky. She is actually in a lei making class in Hawaii. So she got the long straw and she got out of town. So she and David jetted out for a little break before we go back to school. Caledonia and Susie will be with you as usual. And Ricky will be in the studio with me asking questions that you, or verbalizing the questions that you're asking. And yeah, we're just gonna make some pretty things and have a little chat. I didn't bring coffee. I don't need any more caffeine today, but I do have some water. So depending on where you are, grab a cup of coffee or a cocktail and cozy up with your computer or your phone, and let's talk about flowers. So as you folks get started checking in, the title of today's live was Valentine's Memories. And that kind of made me think of like the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future, like the Valentine's flower ghost of Christmas past or whatever. But it also made me think that by the time we're doing live today, Valentine's Day really kind of is a memory. And if you're in the industry, that's probably a good thing. If you're a floral designer or if you're working in a flower shop, that's probably a really good thing for you, you're thinking right about now. But what about if you aren't? What about if you're someone who got flowers for Valentine's Day and thought maybe, man, these are pretty. I wonder if I could do that. I wonder if I could arrange flowers. I wonder if I could work in a flower shop, or maybe even own my own flower shop. Well, easy answer, yes, yes you can. So as we talk about Valentine's past, present, and future, we're going to talk a little bit about flower school and how you can come to flower school and by this time next year be doing something you love in a flower shop for Valentine's Day. So while I get some of these first flowers popped in, has anybody chimed in yet, Ricky?
Yes, we've got Jim, Grace, Cher, Dylan, Wayne, Deborah, Lisa, David's chiming in, Anne, Christy, Roxy, another Grace, and Robin so far.
Wow, okay, and those were tulips, so I'm super happy. Thanks, guys. I'm curious to see if Lori chimes in at all today. She posted in the Tulip Bunch last night that she was going to join, I'll get this wrong probably, no I won't. She was going to join the Roof Club this morning, and Roof was an acronym, ROOF, which stood for Ran Out of Flowers, and she was happy about that. She said, I purchased well, I sold what I intended to, I've made a profit, and I'm done. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the goal. sell what you bought, make a profit, and then go to Hawaii. So what I'm doing right now, which if you are a graduate, you know, I'm just putting together, oh, and I forgot something. I'm already into it and I've already done it wrong. Well, you know what? It's not wrong, it's just different. We'll just go with that. I am greening up my vase, as we often call it, and I am putting together a foliage nest, if you will, of flowers that will serve as the basis of my arrangement. Now, if you come to flower school, this is one of the things that you're going to learn very early on in class. Because at flower school, we teach a lot of different techniques. We teach, wow, I'm gonna say we teach it all, and then I'm gonna correct it and say we teach almost everything, because the minute I say we teach it all, somebody's gonna say, well, do you teach this? And I'll say, no, I don't teach that. But it's gonna be pretty hard to double up on something that we don't teach. We like to show you, oh, look at that boy, isn't he pretty? We like to show you all the mechanics, all the techniques, the tricks, the tips, all of that to set you up to be a professional florist with a career that you can be proud of and a career that can support you. We talk a lot about business and pricing, but we also learn to make really pretty flower arrangements. So this one that I'm starting with is, whoops, it's got a little broken tip there, is what I would call just a classic vase design. Now we're just coming off Valentine's Day, right? So this could have a dozen roses, or it could be maybe a mixed vase arrangement, something like that. In this case, it's going to be both. It's going to be a mixed rose arrangement because I went shopping in our cooler here at school and looked at what we had, because I'm guessing that our flower cooler here looks a lot like what is left in a flower shop flower cooler at the end of Valentine's Day. Was a little bit of something and not a lot of anything. And I thought, well, you know what? There are a lot of flowers in here. I just don't feel like I need to go buy more. I can make do with what I have, which for a lot of folks, that's what tomorrow will be. If you're actually open the day after Valentine's Day, I talked with some of our graduates, and I have some friends in the industry, and they close the day after Valentine's Day. And depending on how big their shop is, or how their shop is set up, in this case, they're closing Thursday and Friday of Valentine's Day week after the big holiday, which makes a really nice long weekend for them and some other folks because it's President's Weekend. So Monday's a holiday for a lot of people, and they're just gonna take advantage of that. So just adding in the last few stems of Israeli ruscus into this. I started with salal, added leather fern, and then I like the ruscus last because it kind of acts like a pin because it has such a nice straight stem. It just pierces through all that other foliage and really locks that nest into place. Let's see if I've got any little holes, any little fluff. Well, I used it all, hopefully. Hopefully I didn't want it for any other arrangement today. If so, Ricky's, you're gonna have to run to the cooler or I'll just pilfer out of this one. All right, so I've got my foliage nest started. And next, I'm going to add in, I'm attacked by the bear grass over here, I'm going to add in roses. So I have some beautiful, up front, some beautiful white spray roses, and then some pink roses. These are not garden roses, and unfortunately, I do not remember the name. Like I said, I just went through the cooler and picked out of buckets, and this one didn't happen to have any tags on it, so we're just gonna call it Beautiful Pink Rose today. How's that? But in class, we cover roses quite extensively, in fact. We spend a couple days just on roses, and we talk about the different varieties, we talk about proper care and handling for the roses, we talk about all the ways you can design roses, and the class that just finished, what was that, 2 weeks ago, Ricky?
Yeah,
Two weeks ago? I've lost a week in there somewhere, I'm sure. They were perfectly set up to get jobs for Valentine's Day. They had completed their classroom studies. They were able to meet with some local flower shops in their hometowns or the areas where they lived, and they got jobs for the holiday. That was a monster stem. So if you've ever thought about doing that, working in a flower shop, you are at the right place. So these are pink roses, obviously, we've talked about that. Red is still the strongest color for Valentine's Day, at least for Valentine's past. Now, going forward, more recently, pretty much all the colors have been popular. I know I read a study earlier this year where orange is one of the most popular colors with men when they're selecting flowers, not necessarily red. They really like that bold, bright pop of color. I don't have a problem with orange roses. Women tend to like all the colors. We tend to enjoy the pinks and the yellows and all the colors, not just the red, but red are still number one as far as popularity. Now, as we're heading into the next big flower holiday, that would be Mother's Day. And your color harmonies, your color palette for Mother's Day is very, very similar to that of Valentine's Day, but it's a little more extended. You start to see more lavenders, more pinks, the blues. Think your soft pastel spring colors. Those start, well, look at that stem, isn't that something? I'm using it. Those colors start to come into play. And we have so many varieties of not just roses anymore, but flowers in general that come in great colors. They're both kind of wonky. I guess I used all the straight ones earlier. Well, we'll make it work. Lots of new flowers that come in fun colors that give you an extended option for Mother's Day. Some of my favorites are working in a monochromatic color palette and just going the whole range of flowers. So maybe picking violet and going from pale, pale lavender all the way up to like an eggplanty color, which kind of takes it a little bit out of violet, but not too much. Depends on what flowers you have. But I just think monochromatic can be so elegant when you're working with flowers. We talk about color harmonies. We learn about color harmonies in flower school, and we learn about the different flowers and what colors they come in. I used to say, oh, you know, there are no blue roses. Well, there really aren't blue roses. They are not naturally blue, I guess I should say at that point, but they can be tinted blue. And we have blue chrysanthemums that are naturally blue now. So that's kind of a new thing, and they're beautiful. And we work with those in flower school so that by the time you're out in the work world, you actually are exposed to a lot of different flowers and different products. I don't like where he is shifted.
While you're switching some things around,
Yeah.
Cindy on Facebook is wondering how you're choosing where to put your flowers.
Good
What's kind of
question.
your thought process?
So, good question, Cindy. My thought process when I'm working with a dozen roses or any other design, to be honest, is I'm looking for balance. I'm placing flowers so they're balanced. When you're learning, it's really good to work in opposites and to work in geometric patterns. So if you think of squares and triangles, if you work in squares and triangles, those are easy to get your flowers placed symmetrically or in a balanced fashion for something like this. That's a balanced, symmetrical, if you will, all-round design. And then as you get more advanced, you can start to play with more asymmetrical forms. You think less about the pattern that you're creating and more just about the flowers and the balance. We go over all of that in flower school. Excuse me. We talk about how to pick flowers based on what it is you're trying to create, the best choices, and then you learn some techniques. You learn some different patterns, if you will, to get you started. But really that is just that. It's just to help you get going and feel comfortable with your placements in the arrangement. It's got a funny little, woo, about sent that flying. Damn, got some new clippers up here. They're heavy duty, I like them. I may hide them in the classroom. So in this case, I'm not really working with a traditional filler flower. I'm working with these gorgeous spray roses as my minor flowers or my filler flowers in this case. This would be a lovely Valentine's Day arrangement, obviously, for Valentine's Day present, if I were having this available for sale. But this would also be a perfect design for Mother's Day, right? What mom would love to get a dozen roses with a little extra something, huh? And I've got a couple little holes here. But this would be a classic vase design. You will learn that in class. We go through several techniques for vase designs and learn lots and lots of different mechanics in the classroom. And the nice thing is, if you are someone who learns by watching, we've got you covered. You're going to watch the teacher demonstrate it. If you're someone who learns by reading or hearing directions, like you listen to a cooking show on television and you can just do it, great, no problem. We talk through everything that we're doing in class before we do it. And if you're someone who learns very hands-on, you are perhaps a visual person, but it doesn't really stick in your brain until you touch something, we've got you covered there too. You actually create designs, you touch flowers every single day that you're in class. Sometimes we do 2 arrangements, sometimes we do more, but you touch flowers every single day in class. Oh, I could use just a little bit of white right there because I can. Now, I'm not obviously in a flower shop, so I'm not working for something that is for sale. I don't have to give a price on this right at the moment, which is good because I wasn't keeping count. But we do teach you how to price your designs, how to decide how much you charge for something. And when the customer has a request at a specific dollar amount, we also show you how to figure that out. So you learn not just the design portion of things, but you also learn the business portion of things. So I'm going to move this one out of the way. After I top up the water, I did not fill my vase completely when I started. So I'm going to bring that up to there where my foliage line is. And I'm going to set this one off to the side. Do we have any new folks joining us today? Do we have any first timers with us today?
I haven't seen any first timers pop in. But we do have a couple of our tulips chiming in saying that they just closed their doors and Donna is sold out for Valentine's.
Yay! Good job, Donna. I love to hear that. I love to hear that. And it just made me so happy last night when I saw Lori's post in the Tulip Bunch. I love to hear when your planning pays off. So good for you. I'm certain it's kind of like New Year's, right? New Year's Eve, it's a rolling midnight. It's a rolling closing across the country right now as we move through the time zones. But good for you. I'm so glad that that is the case for you and that you joined us too. That's kind of fun. So talking about Valentine's, but also just talking about floral design in general. And I said, a lot of people this time of year get flowers for Valentine's Day, and they think, man, I wonder if I could do that. And I said, yes, you can. And I know a lot of people often have FOMO. And I did not stutter. And FOMO. Ricky's like, what is she doing? What is she talking about? I said, well, y'all know what FOMO is, right? Fear of missing out. Well, FOMO is flower fear of missing out. And we see a lot of that this time of year. People think, oh, I could do that. I wonder if I could do that. And then they don't do anything about it. You're never going to know unless you try. And we would love it if you tried with us because we know you can do it. We have people that come from all over the country, all over the world, in fact. I shouldn't even just limit it to the US, that come to us to learn how to become floral designers. And that FOMO, flower fear of missing out, is easily avoided. You can pick up the phone and call us. Well, that's wet and that isn't going to stick. I can see that right now. You can pick up the phone and call us here at school. You can go on our website and request a brochure, and we will get one out in the mail to you so you can see what the full offering of classes are that we have. We have basic and advanced classes. All kinds of workshops are available both in person and online. So if you're thinking, oh, I can't get away from my day job right now to come to Portland, okay, we understand that. You can take our online classes. Those you can start at any time. They are available year-round, and the best thing, well, not the best thing, one of the best things is that you can study at your own pace. So you can keep the day job, you can do your studies at night or on the weekends, and you can learn a new skill or a new career while you're still working your current one. For a lot of folks, they're like, oh, I'm not sure I could do that. They're either not good with learning on their own, or they just prefer to have someone in front of them giving them instant feedback. Great, come to Portland. We'd love to have you here. Our next class in person starts, I'm stalling because I'm trying to remember the date before I say it. It's in a week and a half. It's February 26th, Monday the 26th, and that is a 3-week basic course. We take you from soup to nuts in that, and then the following week, that 4th week, is our advanced class. And we have some students coming up in that February 26th class that are staying for that 4th week and doing their advanced studies right afterwards, which I think is fantastic. So, as I move into this next one, I am working with an acrylic container. It's a recycled container, and in it I have some floral foam and water with flower food in it. I just taped off my mechanics. I did kind of a Michelle style taping. It's not a railroad and it's not a cross design, but it's hopefully going to work for what I have planned. How's that? So in your basic class and in your advanced class, like I said, you learned all kinds of mechanics, and we work with foam. I worked in a vase on the first design, and this design is in foam as our mechanic. And it gives us just a little different level of security and the ability to insert flowers at an angle, which we wouldn't normally have with other mechanics that we work with. So I'm going to pull some of my flowers together, and while I do that, anybody have questions or comments online?
Yeah, Connie is actually wondering about your knife. She says she's never seen one that is curved before.
Oh, my knife, yes. So this is just like, and of course I won't be able to find it. You know, we only have 4,000. This will do for the moment. This is a fixed blade knife, and it's like a paring knife, but the only difference is the blade is straight all the way down. Normally on a paring knife, it kind of curves away from you like this on the end. This keeps your blade flat. This is a pocket knife style, obviously, so I can fold it up and put it in my purse or my pocket or my suitcase, and I have them in all of the above. But it just has a little bit of a hook on the end. Some people have called it like a mushroom knife. I don't know if that, there you go, kind of see that on camera. I have no idea. All I know is when I first learned to use a knife, I walked up to the hard goods counter at the wholesaler and said, I need a design knife. And the guy reached around, grabbed one off the thing and laid it down, and I bought it. And I got home and went, oh, I have my first design knife, and I opened it up and went, what is that? I don't know. This is just what I learned with, so I'm most comfortable with it. Most people have a straight edged. I don't really see an advantage to one or the other, except I do notice that if I'm trying to cut foam very neatly and tidily, this one is a little problematic with the hook. They both do a great job as far as cutting materials. It's just a personal preference, kind of like Coke or Pepsi or Ford or Chevy. It's like what you like better. But thanks for asking. I usually scare the kids in class with it because they have straight knives, and I open mine and they're like, oh, yours is fancy. I'm like, yeah, it's got a hook in it. It's like Captain Hook. All right, let me look at the rest of my flowers here, make sure I pulled everything out that I wanted. Probably not, but that's the joy of this. I can add to things as I go along. So with this little design, I'm going to do it in more of a, what we call a vegetative style. So I'm going to have materials that come straight up and down, and I might have some materials that kind of radiate out from it as well. All kinds of fun stuff. We learn so many different styles of design in class. We learn different, not just design techniques, but different styles of design, whether they're Western, not as in like cowboy Western, but Western cultural designs, or Eastern cultural designs. We expose our students to Ikebana. We are not an Ikebana school, mind you, but we do expose our students to that style of design. As far as mechanics, of course, I've done a vase design, and here's some foam. And we also do kenzan, which is a Japanese flower holder. It's like a pin holder. We also work with eco foams, some of the new foam materials. We work with chicken wire, or floral netting, depending on what you'd like to call it. We work with an assortment of different kinds of mechanics. I always get the question, is one better than the other? No. In my opinion, no, not really. The difference in the mechanics is just that. It's the difference. If you have a broad range of knowledge of different kinds of mechanics, then those are just tools that you have in your floral toolbox. They allow you to make the best decision for what you need to do as far as the way to put the arrangement together based on the task at hand. That's always what I tell my students. In fact, I had one of our online students had that question today. She's like, I just don't know about foam. I don't think I'm doing it right. And could I do this design this way? And I said, well, you could, but I always try to pick the best mechanic for the task at hand, whether that's floral netting, whether that is foam free in general, whether that is chicken wire, whatever it is, I always try to pick whatever is going to work best for the task I have at hand. So right now, I'm just grouping some, whoops, oh darn. You know what, I think I broke his little head when I put him in there.
Not his head.
No. All right, we're just gonna pretend I didn't. I don't think I did after I took him out. So I'll put him in a different hole. Let him hang out on the side a little bit. So like I said, I went through the cooler and found an assortment of pretties in there. Leanne's been filming just before she took off for a couple days away. She'd been filming like crazy for new videos. If you are a tulip already and you follow us, you know all about our newsletter with our Monday videos. And she's been filming like a crazy person. And that's why we have such an assortment of flowers in the cooler. There were also some flowers left last week from Teacher Carolyn when she was doing her live. And in fact, these tulips, if you saw it last week, these tulips are the ones that she was using that I just pilfered out of the arrangement. And it's very warm in the studio today, and they have started to open and do their own crazy little thing that tulips do. So hopefully when I get to the next design that I had planned to use more of them for, they will cooperate and do exactly what they were supposed to do for that design. And if they don't, you know what, it'll just be fine. We will just punt and make it work, because we are florists and we just make things work sometimes. So I'm adding in a dianthus, which is a fancy name for a carnation. This particular one is called Green Trick. If you've never seen it before, it is adorable. It looks like a little ball of moss on a stick. And it is very long lasting, and it gives that appearance of moss, but having it on a stem, so I can really, I just love to pat it, it just feels so fun. I just love it because it gives me the ability to put it into an arrangement at an angle or cover a weird opening, like where I've left a little bit of a gap here on the sides to have water. Super long lasting, super pretty to look at. What's not to love about it? And speaking of moss, I brought in a little bit of Spanish moss because I thought it might play off that gray kind of speckly container nicely. And I'm going to tuck that into my design. And I think I'm going to make a couple little hairpins to keep it in place. Tidy up my workspace here. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have moss that grows pretty much on everything. If you slow down for about 5 minutes, you're probably going to have moss grow on you. Now, it's not Spanish moss here, it is sphagnum, and it's the green moss that most people think of, at least most people in not the South think of when we think of moss. But I just felt like today the sphagnum would not add anything to my arrangement. The texture was too close to that of my Green Trick dianthus, and we learn a lot about texture in flower school. We learn about good texture and bad texture and too much texture, and we learn about contrast, which also deals with texture. So I just used a little bit of wire and I made a couple little hairpins just to tack this into place and keep it where I want it. Now, as I tuck my flowers into the arrangement, those will act as little picks or hairpins, if you will, to keep the moss in place. But this way I know it's not going to come out, and I want to tuck it in there around those ranunculus because I want to hide that foam, conceal my mechanics a little bit. And I'm going to tuck a little ball, oops, sorry, Tulip, right down in the middle. Okay, so now the knife is handy, so I've got the little pointy part, and I can just tuck that right down in between those stems. Yes, I could have put my moss down first and inserted through it, but sometimes I find my stem will catch the moss and shove that into the foam, which makes a bigger hole than I might want. And just, I end up using more of it because I'm trying to cover all of the mechanic of my foam instead of just tucking it in where I need it around the edges. Now, I can still insert flowers through this, no problem there, but I just want to make sure I've got that concealed a little bit. I may add some more moss over here by the tulips, but for now I'm going to leave it as it is. So this would be a fun little design for the next floral holiday that we have coming up, Mother's Day. And if you were to come to flower school, oh my, decisions. All right, let's go on over here. If you were to come to flower school on that next session, which starts in a couple weeks, or online anytime, you could be out of school and an FDI certified floral designer before Mother's Day. What is an FDI certified floral designer, you ask? I heard you through the internet. That is someone who has completed the basic floral design course and the advanced floral design course. And that certification is nationally recognized. It gives you the ability to put FDI after your name. And what it does is it tells prospective employers, your customers, that you have completed a very extensive, I will say, course of study in your field, and you have learned the proper care and handling of flowers. You've learned the correct techniques for assembling the arrangements, creating the designs. It is an amazingly comprehensive course. I usually have the students on the first day of class, and I say over and over, to the point where I get some eye rolls even, we cover a lot in this program. And then by the end of that first week, they have a quiz on that next Monday when they come to class. Inevitably somebody will go, wow, we covered a lot. It's like, yeah, I warned you. But that's good because it really prepares you for a career in this industry. Now, I know we have some tulips online. So, tulips, those of you that have graduated, type in and share with the non-tulips that are with us today what your favorite thing was about the first week of class. Now, if you did your class online, pick something early on in class, but I just type in what was your favorite thing you learned in that first week of flower school. And if you want to say why, that would be even better too. But I always love to hear what everybody loves the most about that first week because, again, we cover a lot of information, but we try to make it fun. I won't say flower school is easy because in my opinion, something that's easy isn't always the best option. So I won't say flower school is easy, but I will say it is a lot of fun. We work hard, but we like to have a good time. You work with a wonderful group, if I do say so myself, of teachers. I'm one of them. Teacher Carolyn and Teacher Jerry, who are Valentining their fingers off right now, are two others that you would work with. Teacher Anna, who's also doing some Valentine work. I didn't even think about Anna. And then, of course, you get to work with Leanne. So you're really getting a broad exposure in the land of floral. And I think that's a huge, huge benefit. If you just learn from one person, you're only getting one perspective or one technique or one opinion on something. And while there are some definites in floral design, some this is the only way you should do this type of thing, there are also a lot of different ways to do something. For example, there are multiple ways to tie a bow. Some people may or may not know that. And in class, you're going to be exposed to 2 or 3 different ways of tying a bow because we all do it just a little bit differently. Leanne's way is the right way, of course, but what I tell the students is, here's the beauty of that. You might learn the way I tie a bow, or I'll demonstrate how I tie a bow, and you're all thumbs. That's normal, don't sweat it. Because then maybe you have Carolyn the next day, and she does the bow just a little bit differently, and it clicks. You're like, I can tie a bow, I can do this. Honestly, doesn't really matter. You can get from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine a lot of different ways, right? You can take a plane, take a train, take a bus, you could drive, you could hitchhike, I don't recommend that. But you can get from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. I don't care how you get there, but as long as you get there, that's the important part. And it's kind of like tying a bow. It doesn't have just one way. So the benefits of having multiple instructors are multiple opinions, multiple different ways to do it, multiple different life experiences. Leanne was chatting with us via email today, and I'm not going to throw her under the bus totally, but she's done a lot of Valentine's days, and she can't believe it because she must have started when she was like 9, but it suddenly just rolls on, and all that experience, all those experiences. Leanne's owned a flower shop. Leanne owns the flower school. Leanne has worked for people in flower shops. I have owned my own business. I have worked for other people. Teacher Carolyn has worked for other people. She has had her own business. She's done only weddings and events. She's done daily deliveries and sympathy work and you name it, baby balloon bouquets back in the day. So that's just a wealth of knowledge that you get exposed to by all the different teachers that you have. So that last little bit, I added the blue flowers. Those are called Tweedia. Funky little name for a cute little flower. And then I added some Gaelic leaves in for just a little different contrast, a little different texture. If you've been here before, or you've been in class, or you just know me in general, you know if I can work my favorite flower into any design, I will. And that would be Craspedia. You'll hear them called Billy Balls or Billy Buttons. Craspedia is the name that we like to call them if we can, but they just make me so dang happy. They're just like little fuzzy lollipops. I like them. And they add such a fun little pop of color into a design. I love how they kind of repeat the form of those green trick dianthus. They're like little balls. The green trick make me giggle. A lot of things make me giggle. If you've had me in class, you know there are a lot of things that make me giggle. But the thing I love most about that green trick is, if you've seen the movie Frozen, who hasn't, they remind me of the little trolls when what's-his-face and the reindeer go up to the rocks that are actually people, the little troll. They look like those. And every time I see them at market, I just think of Frozen. I'm not sure if that ruined Frozen for me or if that ruined Green Trick, but they just make me smile either way. So I'm just adding these in as a little bit of whimsy, I guess, into the design. I'm tucking them down low to give a little bit of interest down in there. Just something kind of fun. Oh my goodness, I have some sweet peas that were left from the other day. I'm not sure. I don't know, Ricky, what do you think? Yay or nay?
I kind of like them.
I kind of like them. They're kind of fun. They're kind of playful.
I like that they're like a little bit darker but still springy.
Yeah, brings that next layer of color in. And it really pulls. I just have that one darker pink ranunculus, so to me it helps pull that in a little bit. They have a little bit of fragrance in them, which I think is cool. They're very feminine looking to me. They're very roughly like little flamenco dancer dresses. So I'm just gonna tuck a few of those down in. Whoops. Okay. Don't attack the ranunculus bud. Tuck a few of these down in low as well.
While you're doing that, we do have some tulips that have chimed in about their favorite part of class.
Great!
Debbie says that her favorite part was getting teacher feedback so that she could learn how to get better.
Excellent.
I just had it. Lisa said that she really enjoyed her floral knife safety, learning how to use the right tool for the right job.
There you go. Excellent.
Wayne says that he really enjoyed learning the elements and principles of design.
That's a couple days. We introduced those on day 2 or so in the classroom, the elements and principles of design, and then we pretty much talk about them every day going forward because they are the building blocks of our design. That's what we base everything on, all of them, all the elements and principles, the E's and P's as we call them.
And then Cher shared that she, sorry, that was a tongue twister.
Yes, it was.
That she really enjoyed learning the flower care and handling.
Oh, good. That's all of them. Great answers. There isn't a wrong answer, obviously, in that instance. Flower care and handling and the elements and principles of design really are two that will serve you with every single floral related order or job or design that you create, because if we don't take care of our product on the front end, we don't really have much to design with on the back end. So we cover care and handling, and apparently I'm not being careful and I'm mishandling this poor little flat fern, so we're going to tuck him back here. His little stem is so delicate and I'm just going at it like a crazy person. All right, let's just move on from a different one. There we go. Somebody said knife handling skills.
Yes, Lisa.
Lisa, yes, thank you. Excellent, excellent point, Lisa. We show you how to properly work with a design knife. We also use bunch cutters and snips and other kinds of clippers and cutting implements in class, but we really love and stress the importance of using a design knife because it is the professional's choice, and we talk about all the reasons why in flower school. Now, I've been talking about past, present, and future a little bit, Valentine's Day, but also overlapping that into other upcoming holidays. And I think this not only would be a charming little Mother's Day arrangement, but this could roll right on into Easter. Doesn't this just look like Easter egg colors? It does to me. I don't know about you guys. I'm trying to decide if I want anything else. I tend to be a less is more person to some extent, but sometimes more is better. And I do have one little sweet pea left. So we're gonna operate on that more is better in this case, and I'm gonna let him trail out a little bit towards the front here, get a little different angle. There. How do you guys like that one? Different mechanics, different design techniques. I have multiple binding points, I have parallel placement, I have radial placement, and if you have no idea what I just said, that's okay. If you come to flower school, we'll tell you what all of that means and how to make it work for you so you can make pretty arrangements also. So I'm going to move this one off to the side.
While you're doing that, we have another question from Cindy.
Yeah.
Which ties into one that I saw earlier when you were making your little hairpins. But do we teach wire techniques and how to properly wire flowers?
Yes, excellent question. Thank you, Cindy. I'm not even getting into handwork today, which those of you who had me in class or I forgot I have those cute ones. Moving on. These would be perfect for that. If we were doing a segment on wearables, corsages or boutonnieres, yes, we absolutely teach wire and tape techniques. We also teach glued mechanics. We really try to expose you to all of the different mechanics available to floral designers today so that you can pick the best tool for the job at hand. And I love to wire tape because I love the control that it gives me. And I also love to glue things because I love the freedom to create that it gives me. So you would learn both of those techniques, and then we do some projects where we combine them as well. So it's not just a one-off. You can layer your knowledge in this industry, and yeah, you should come to flower school so we can learn all the cool things together. All right, well, I've got just a few minutes left, so I probably won't get this one finished on camera, but this one in my mechanic is, I don't want to tilt that. Can you see that, Ricky?
Yes.
I have a ball of chicken wire, aka floral netting or poultry mesh in here, and I have secured it with waterproof tape, and I added water with flower food in it, so my flowers have a fighting chance at survival. And this is yet another mechanic for creating designs. It is a way to secure your materials in place without using floral foam. I did that in the first arrangement with the roses in the vase. They were not in, come here, Tulip, come here. They were not in floral foam. They were just relying on their brothers and sisters stems to provide the support for the flowers themselves. Oh, these have opened up so much in here, and now they're all tangled up and they don't want to play well together. All right. That is one of the most beautiful things I think about tulips, is that they have a mind of their own, and they just keep growing and growing and growing. In fact, we say that about us here at Flower School. Tulips never stop growing. And that's our brand, that's our logo, and tulips are how we refer to our students and our graduates. They never stop growing, they never stop learning. And if you think you're interested in becoming a tulip, I'm sure Caledonia and Susie have tagged the website with the page where they can find out about classes, but if they haven't, if they would do that, that'd be super awesome special. And you can go to the website, and if you scroll, you click on the top where it says classes, and then you scroll to the first section. It'll be, for example, basic floral design in the classroom. Click on that, and then go that's a nice one, go all the way to the bottom, and it has a little section, little one-liners highlighted in red that say FAQ or payment options or things like that. Click on the one that says syllabus. I think if you've been looking at schools, I think you'll be mightily impressed when you look at the syllabus for our program, how comprehensive it is, how much material we cover, and then once you do that, you're going to understand why I said we cover a lot of material. We do. In the 3 weeks that you're here with us for the basic program, we cover all of that you would see on the syllabus. After you look at that, if you have questions, call us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, email us. All that contact information is right there on the website. And when you call, I sound like a credit card commercial, you have American support. But you know what? When you call, you know who's going to answer the phone? Me, Leanne, Carolyn, Ricky. You're going to talk to one of us, somebody that you've seen that's talked to you through your phone or your television that is familiar to you, and we can help you get set up in your classes or give you ideas on where to stay if you're coming in person. We have some wonderful places nearby where you can stay. If you wanted to come for the February class, we still have some openings. And I know one of the gals I talked with yesterday, in fact, she's staying at one of our little places just up the road, the Inn at Northrop Station. It's an easy, I don't know, 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk-ish?
Yeah.
10-ish.
No more than 10.
No more than 10 minutes, unless you start lollygagging or you get a coffee. Up the road, and it's just a wonderful way to start your morning, just a brisk walk to school, and then into the classroom, and we start playing with flowers. So I encourage you, if you're interested, to take a look at the website, look at the classes both in person or online. The curriculums are the same, they're identical. And then give us a call, because we would love to help you make a decision to come to flower school with us. We love what we do here at Floral Design Institute, and we would love to share our knowledge with you. Yeah, I'm gonna use that one. I don't know where his head went, but I like it. It looks like corn.
That's what I was thinking.
It looks like corn, I know, and I'm using it because I just think he's pretty. Waste not, want not. We would love to share our knowledge of floral design with you and help you perhaps start a new career in floral design. Okay, these twigs, there we go. Ricky's like, are you going tall? I'm not going tall. And then I pulled these out and her eyes went, what? I'm not going to use them full height. So I pilfered these out of Teacher Carolyn's design from last week as well. If you were able to join us for live last week, great. If not, you can catch it on the replay. We have playlists on YouTube and Facebook too. Don't we play this one? Yeah.
There's a playlist on Facebook.
It's sort of a playlist, yeah. But you can go back and see all of the lives we've done since the very beginning, if you so chose. But you could catch Teacher Carolyn's from last week on replay. She focused on specifically Valentine's Day designs. And big stretch. I am sort of, like we talking about Valentine's memories. And I had to kind of laugh when we were naming that. It's like, yeah, we want to talk about old Valentines or, But to me, what that meant was not just the ghost of Valentine's Day past or present, but also the future and making our memory in the future. So that's that planning ahead part. Weaving that in there a little bit for some support. And thinking about what you might do going forward, whether that's flower school or something else, whatever might be appealing to you, we can help you with that. If you want to work in a flower shop, we can help you with that. If you want to own your own business, we can help you with that. If you want to be just a wedding florist, we can help you learn all the things you need to do for that as well. So I will keep poking posies on this, since I notice our hour is just about up. And Ricky will have pictures of these for everybody in the Tulip Bunch tomorrow, so you'll be able to see those. And for those of you who joined us today who aren't currently enrolled in flower school, if you aren't currently a tulip, I do encourage you to check out the website, check out all of the information we have. There's a lot, but we really love what we do, and we would love for you to join us and learn to do something you love. So have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye.